Imagine your workday looked like this. You get dressed for the office, you start the long commute from home, you grab a quick cup of coffee along the route, you say hello to your co-workers, and you sit down in your office. You do some digital designing, you do a little bit of surface preparation, you paint some unique custom artwork on some shoes, you take some pictures and post them on Instagram, and you get paid for it. If you're like me and you want to avoid the bureaucracy, the commute, the menial work, and you want to do something truly awesome and creative as your job or your career, and you want to be your own boss, then this is going to sound like the best job ever. And if I'm being honest, it is. And if it does sound like the best job ever, you're gonna want to keep watching, because in this video I am literally gonna show you step by step everything you need to do to start a custom sneaker business with minimal startup costs, minimal prerequisites. In fact, all you need to get started is your cell phone and about $20 in capital. I think you meet the minimum requirements. But wait. I can see you're thinking, wow, this sounds like such an awesome business opportunity. I could do this if only I wasn't useless at painting or drawing. While having epic drawing or painting skills can be really awesome for certain types of custom sneakers, I can say categorically that you don't need to be able to paint. Yes, that's right, I mean it. You don't need to be able to paint or even to draw to successfully run a sneaker customizing business or customize sneakers themselves. In the same way that an architect or a draftsman doesn't need to be able to draw without a ruler, you can also do this by following some awesome little tips and tricks that help you get around that need. Literally anyone can do this. Look, it's not easy, but it's incredibly doable if you follow a very simple process. If you want a realistic idea of how to start a business like this, and you want to hear my secret key to success that has allowed me to run a successful sneaker customizing business, and you want to hear that secret, you're going to have to watch to the end of the video, because I'm going to share that with you right at the end. Okay, phase number 1. I call this phase establishing yourself to yourself. So profound. You need to figure out the craft. That is, you need to learn how to customize sneakers confidently and comfortably. When I first started customizing sneakers, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to prevent the paint from cracking on the creases of the shoes. I had no idea how long it was gonna last, and I was far too afraid to charge anybody for my art, even though I knew I could do it. So you're going to need to practice and figure out the ins and outs of the craft before you get started. The best way to do this without forking out a whole lot of extra cash, we're trying to make money here, not spend it, is to find a pair of your old sneakers or ask friends or family for some of their old sneakers and practice on those, where there is very low risk to the learning process. You don't want to start charging people until you're sure that they're going to get their money's worth. When I first started, I bought a fake pair of Air Force Ones from a very seedy part of town, and I customized them for my wife Leah. Bear in mind that your first job is not going to be the best work you will ever do. So don't be disappointed if it doesn't come out looking like the folks on Instagram with their clean, crisp, perfectly white Air Force Ones. Particularly if you're working on used shoes, they are going to look used. So just keep that in mind and don't be discouraged. For me, this phase took a really long time because I was trying to figure everything out on my own. The hard way, through trial and error, lots and lots of errors. But the good news is that you don't have to. For the past year, I have actually been compiling a YouTube playlist on how to customize sneakers like a pro. In these videos, I will teach you how to mask up for customization. I'll teach you how to do surface preparation, what paint to use, how to do digital design, how to solve certain common problems that pop, how to make a stencil, how to bypass drawing and painting, how to use an airbrush, how to paint on canvas shoes, how to remove the Nike swoosh, and so on, so on, so on. You can check that playlist out at the end of this video or check out the link in the description. I'll make sure to put it in there. So by checking out these videos, you can avoid years and years of struggle and some gray hairs. See? You're already winning at this. So do yourself a favor, grab 1 or 2 pairs of free used shoes and do 1 or 2 really simple custom sneaker jobs. And before you know it, you're reaching the end of phase 1, you're growing in confidence, you have a realistic idea of what it feels like to customize a sneaker. You know what comes naturally to you, and you know what you're going to need to work on improving on. This is basically the starting point of your confidence, which is just so important when it comes to any creative process. Well, actually anything in life. Even if it doesn't feel easy to start with, you can do it. Then comes phase 2. This is establishing yourself to your audience. Although now you know that you can customize sneakers, you need to convince other people that you can do it too. I sometimes wish that you could do this without social media, but the truth is that's just not the world that we live in. Back in the old days, if you wanted to get exposure and show people your work for something like custom sneakers, you would need to have a table at a market or a conference or a festival to get people to see your stuff and make orders. Now, while that is still an excellent way to get your name and your art out there, we're looking at the cheapest, most convenient way to get this business started. And what's the easiest way to access millions of people for free? That's right, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Of course, there are plenty of other avenues like an Etsy store or a private website, but those are topics for another video. But for the purposes of this video, we'll use Instagram, which is free, it's easy to use, and it gives you unobstructed access to a lot of potential customers across the world. And you can access all of this with just your phone. It's important to realize that everything about custom sneakers is visual. From why your customers want them, to how you go about making them look awesome, and then how you market them on digital media channels. So naturally, you're going to need to establish a base of content that demonstrates the work that you can and have done. And yes, there may be freebies you did for your cousin, but your audience doesn't need to know that. The whole point of this phase is to avoid looking like a brand new artist who doesn't know what they're doing. So that means doing as many pairs as possible and making them look as good as possible so that people can have confidence in the product that you're selling. It's also not a bad idea to be really strategic in the type of art that you do on your first couple of pairs, even if they're those freebie couple pairs. Pay attention to what is popular in the world right now. The new Spider-Man movie, Premier League football team, a wildly popular musician. These things can only help you grow your exposure and the number of people who might be interested in your work. So what I did in this phase is I said to a couple of kids in my church, I said, you buy the shoes, I'll do the art for free. What I got out of the deal was 5 excellent examples of the kind of art that I can do. And just with these sets of photos, I was able to appeal to a small and growing audience, doing everything I could to avoid looking like a brand new creator and getting as many pairs under my belt as possible. Whether you decide to charge for pairs in this phase is up to you and your confidence. Just because I decided not to charge doesn't mean that you can't charge. Just make sure that you are covering your expenses. One of the most critical parts in these first 2 phases is to make sure that you're paying attention to exactly how long each type of custom takes you. Now sure, some pairs of customs are going to take you much quicker than others. So make sure to take note of how long each type of custom takes. This is going to help you decide exactly how much to charge for your customs. But we'll talk more about that in phase 4. Quick recap. You're starting a custom sneaker business, and what you've done so far is you've gotten a couple of free pairs from your closet or from your friends or from your neighbors, and you have done a couple of artworks to establish your own confidence. Then you have taken photographs of the work you have done, posted them to Instagram so that you can show people you're not a brand new artist who doesn't know what they're doing. In fact, you are a competent artist that has a demonstration of what they can do. Now that you don't look like you're just getting started, it's time to fake it until you make it. Okay, phase 3, marketing your work. So in this phase, we are going to try and aggressively expand your reach so that it's not just the 5 people who are following you on Instagram. What I'd recommend is either setting aside a small amount of money out of your pocket or using the money that you charged customers in the first 2 phases. Any amount is fine, but you're going to want to spend a little bit of money on some paid Instagram ads to reach as many people as possible. Now this can seem quite scary for somebody who's never done anything like this before. Trust me, it's not. It's really easy and straightforward. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that will explain step by step how to create an Instagram ad, what goes into it, and how the whole back end works. But if you specifically want me to do a deep dive tutorial on how to do that for customizing sneakers and overcoming all the issues, let me know in the comments down below, And depending on if you guys do want that, I'll create a video like that in the coming weeks. But basically, you're going to choose an amount, whether that's $2, $5, $10, $50, or whatever amount you would like to spend. And Instagram is going to give you a certain number of people that are going to put that ad in front of, based on the amount of people you would like to reach. And if you have a look on this cool little tool here, based on the amount that I'm willing to spend per day or during the cycle, these are the number of people Instagram predicts will see and interact with my post. So based on your appetite for investment, you can decide whether you want to start small, medium, or large. Obviously, the more you invest, the more people are going to see it, and the higher possibility that you will get an order from this. But you can always start small in an effort to get your following on Instagram up and expand the number of people who are generally seeing your posts. You may not get any orders the first time around, but pay attention to what works and what doesn't work in your ad performance information. Then make the changes you need and try again. Eventually, you will get your first order. Alright, on to phase 4. Now, phase 4 is about reputation and value. Now, I can't stress this part enough. If you have a look at these two products, which one do you think you are going to be confident to buy from? Now look, these two products look like exactly the same thing at face value. They've got the same price. But 9 times out of 10, the customer is going to choose the one with the greater degree of certainty that they're going to get what they want. And that in this example is represented by reviews, those awesome little stars over there. And now even if these two weren't the same, if this one was slightly higher than this one, consumer psychology will tell you that most customers will opt for the one on the right. This is because they have a reputation of making their customers happy. And without that reputation, there is no trust. And without trust, nobody's going to send you their money. So my personal opinion on how to kickstart a sneaker customizing business is to charge as little as possible for your first couple of orders. And when I say couple of orders, I mean 10, 15, 20 orders. It may mean less profit now, but it will mean more profit in the long run. Once you have established yourself firmly and your quality of work and reputation grow together, you will incrementally be able to charge more and more for your customs. So here is an example. I charged about $40 for this pair of customs right in the beginning. Once I felt like I was fully established, say 8 to 10 months later, I probably would have charged around $120 for this exact same pair. If you are feeling absolutely clueless and you have no idea how to charge for custom sneakers and you're afraid of making it too much or too little, one great way to determine the cost of your shoes is to calculate exactly how many hours you perceive that pair will take and give yourself an hourly rate for the duration of that pair. So for example, if you have a pair that you think is going to take 10 hours and you're giving yourself a freelancer rate of $10 an hour, it would be a good idea to charge $100 for that pair. Just don't forget to take into account expenses like tape, paint, vinyl stencils, paintbrushes, etc. And then, after a couple of months of trying to build a solid reputation, you will be able to command whatever price you feel is necessary for the demand that you have on your sneakers. So for example, this pair of Transformers Air Jordan 1s that I actually gave away for free as part of a competition is probably some of my best work to date. This is the full works. Every single inch of leather is painted. Custom painted tongue, dyed sock liner, custom laces, glowing airbrush work, 4 intricate and detailed characters. I think I probably would have charged a minimum of about $400 for this pair. So keep in mind that in the beginning, you're probably not going to be able to charge for what you think you can do until you have established a solid reputation and you are able to reach the people who are confident in your work to be able to deliver that caliber of work. Okay, phase 5, transitioning from self-employed to full-on sneaker customizing business. So, up until now, I have been teaching you how to start a small customizing business. But in actuality, there is quite a big difference between being self-employed and running a small business. And the key difference is that with self-employment, your time and effort is directly related to your income. But if your business can progress and make money, even without your literal presence, then you'll be running a business. What you want, of course, is completely up to you. There are some people who are watching this video who are students who might want to just make a little bit of money on the side, or part-time workers who could do with a little bit of extra income and a creative outlet. That's completely fine. That is a form of self-employment. But if you want to go all out and turn this into a business you can rely on, or a career, you're going to realize pretty quickly that there is only so much that you can do in a calendar month. You're also quickly going to realize that 100% of your active hours are going to need to be productive in order for you to make a halfway decent salary. Unless you're uncannily good and you can just command bucket loads because your work is so perfect. So what can we do to make sure that your business can make money beyond your physical working hours between 9 and 5? Well, the most straightforward way to go about it is to hire people, to outsource certain processes, or to develop passive revenue streams. That's fancy business talk for hire somebody from Fiverr to do your digital mockups, or run your social media account, or hire an intern artist to do some of your surface preparation or your simple customization tasks, or any of the processes you want to free yourself up from doing. I mean, if we were to take a step back, you could 100% run a sneaker customizing empire without ever having to pick up a paintbrush yourself. But let's run a scenario quick. If you are working on customizing full-time, 40 hours a week, you can probably do approximately 25 simple pairs, 13 medium pairs, or 7 or 8 masterpiece pairs. Just to guess, somewhere in the middle, you will probably be earning around $2,000 a month after expenses. That's all you can do. There is no time for anything else. You are limited by the work that you can do as an individual. Your earning capacity is capped. Now just consider that in that calculation, no time was given to doing digital mockups, conversing with customers about their needs, or engaging in any way on social media. So realistically, that $2,000 a month is looking like a very optimistic goal. But if you hired somebody to do your digital mockups, surface preparation, some of your painting and some of your social media, say you hired a student, somebody part-time just looking to make a little bit of money off of their creative skills. They could do most of the process for around, I don't know, $1,000 a month. Now you have spent some money, but your capacity as a business has effectively doubled now that there are 2 people who are able to do this amount of work. In essence, if you play your cards right, you could be earning $4,000 a month with expenses of, say, $1,000 a month paying for your intern. This is of course assuming that you're still working full-time. And this process can be repeated again and again and again, depending on your appetite for investment and risk. I mean, you could hire 3 people and still work full-time yourself and end up taking home $5,000 a month. This isn't even considering things like affiliate marketing, social media income, ad revenue, making stencils that can be sold passively online, selling your digital designs, or taking on corporate event works that has a higher markup and can be much more profitable. Now, of course, these are just estimated statistics to give you a general idea of the potential owning and running a sneaker customization business or sneaker customization empire could entail. In fact, if you are interested in outsourcing some of your process, particularly your digital designs or mockups, I know people. You can literally send me an email with this email address and I will connect you to people who will happily do your digital designs for you. Send me an email and I'll send you a reference list. Now, if you do decide to take the plunge into making this a full-time business, of course you're going to need to register your business with the appropriate tax authority and make sure that you dot all of your I's and cross all of your T's. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that deal with that business side of it. I'm not going to go into the details of it now. Now, as promised, I am going to give you my secret formula to maximizing profit when it comes to customizing sneakers. It's really simple and all it requires is your commitment. And it's crazy stupid simple. If you commit to it, there is almost no way that you could fail at this. Basically, this is the key to success in any startup low-risk business idea. Here's the scenario. Say you charge $100 for a pair of custom sneakers. Your materials cost you $30, okay? That's a take home of $70. Now, you're never going to grow a business if you take that $70 and you decide to use it or live with it as personal income. Instead, I'd like to recommend using the 40-30-30 ratio. Basically, you keep 40% as personal income, you invest 30% into digital marketing, and you keep 30% for the improvement and upscaling of your business. Let's see what this looks like in a pretty realistic example. Say you make $300 on a pair of customs. You keep 40%, which is about $120. You spend $90 on Instagram ads, and you keep $90 to go into a small business fund that will allow you to save up to upskill your business if you wanted to save for a Cricut vinyl printing machine or a compressor and an airbrush. Or perhaps eventually you want to open a shop. Not only are you giving yourself something as a reward for the hard work you put into your customs, but you're also setting up the groundwork for future orders. $90 is quite a bit for Instagram marketing, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get more than one order from an investment like that. For example, by spending $90 on an Instagram ad, you could get two $200 orders, and therefore your return on investment is rather high. Next, you'll keep $90 in your business in your rainy day fund. Say you unexpectedly need to replace a pair of shoes you made a huge mistake on. Or perhaps you're systematically saving up for an airbrush, a compressor, or maybe even one of those Cricut vinyl cutting machines. But by intentionally dividing your income into different budgets, you'll have a structure to rely on, you'll be able to safeguard against unforeseen events, and you'll have a plan to grow your future. Now, I'm aware that this structure is extremely simplistic, but it is a phenomenal way to get you started and get yourself the momentum and the mentality to turn your business away from self-employment into something that is systematic and sustainable. If you do this structure for an entire year, I guarantee that you will have completely leveled up your entire operation. From your initial investment of $20 for brushes and paints, you could now have a tidy income, a couple of assets, and some good prospects in the future. Now, you might look at that 40% and say, dude, there's no way I could support myself on that 40%. And you're right, it's very unlikely that you could, unless you were living with your parents. So that's why myself and many others decide to operate a sneaker customizing business on the side while still working full-time and working diligently to get it to the point where I can 100% rely on that income and turn it into a full-on gig. The reason why I mention this is that your individual context plays a large role in how you will structure your business going forward. So for example, while 40-30-30 might work really well for me, others may only have the means to do 60-20-20, and others may be able to do 20-40-40. Of course, you'll definitely grow quicker the more you're investing in your business, but it's about what works best for you and your situation. And this is the basic structure that allowed me to turn $53 into a full-on surfboard customization business, took me around the world 3 times, paid for 2 of my university degrees, and supported my needs for the large part of about 8 years. And if I can do it, so can you. So in conclusion, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a lot of work, but if you follow the process in this video, I am really confident that you will be able to make something beautiful, vibrant, colorful, and profitable out of this. And I think that's a pretty cool outcome. Before you go, make sure you check the comments and see if there's anybody there who could do with a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of a confidence boost. As I mentioned before, check out this video where you can learn everything you need to know about customizing sneakers, or this next video, which is about exactly how much money you could make as a sneaker customizer. And that's it for today. Until next time, see ya.